What is up, people? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me. So today, we're actually being joined by a very special guest, DJ Ooch, baby. And we're going to talk about why we think wedding traditions are dying. They gone. You don't have to ad-lib everything, man. You really don't. We're like Migos. No, we're not. But we're not Migos, though. Like, we're not. All right, whatever. Seriously. Sorry. Keep it up. I'll edit you out. It's my channel.
You should edit your forehead out.
Look at your forehead. Seriously, look at your forehead.
I mean, I'm just saying. Shit's huge.
I tried to make it work. You guys saw it, okay? I just can't. I'm sorry. We're just gonna go solo like normal, okay? He gone. So before I start, if you guys can do me a huge favor, hit that like button down there. It'll help all my algorithms. And by the way, we do tips around here. DJ tips, wedding tips, all kinds of tips. Occasional vlog, but mostly tips. So if you want to know when a tip comes out, you hit the subscribe button. You hit the bell to be notified. The more tips are for you, the better for you. Capiche? But anyway, holy shit, our wedding's changing. I've noticed so many changes just in the last 5 years, let alone the last 10 or 15 since I started my young career. And I think it's only gonna keep moving in this direction. And I figured I'd make a video to kind of talk about this to, you know, help you guys prepare for these changes, help you kind of navigate through these new waters of, oh, the future of weddings. How are we going to make it? And basically, you know, what skills you're gonna need moving forward. Before I even start, I wanna remind you guys that I live and DJ weddings in the New Jersey, Philadelphia, and New York City markets, right? In the tri-state area here. New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, sometimes Delaware, but not all the time, okay? So in this market where I'm at, we are very, very progressive. When new trends come out, they typically come out here first. We typically do them here first before they reach the rest of the country. So some of the stuff I'm about to tell you might not be happening yet in your market, but you bet your ass it's coming. Trust me. So let's start out with the traditions that are pretty much on their way out because the majority of weddings nowadays just don't do them anymore. Number one, ceremony in a church. Man, that used to be a thing. When I started doing weddings in 2003, 2004-ish, the early 2000s to the mid 2000s, there was never, ever a wedding at a venue. It didn't happen. That was, like, I don't remember one. I really don't. I think I remember the first time it happened, it was like early 2000, it might have been 2010, 2009, the first time I ever seen a wedding at a venue. Nowadays, I would say 80, maybe even 90% of my ceremonies are at the venue where I'm actually DJing them. I'm playing the music, I'm running the ceremony, I'm miking up the officiant. Like large majority. It's super rare that couples get married in a church anymore. Now this can be for a variety of different reasons. One being, a lot of couples aren't as religious anymore or traditional religious, like maybe they still believe in God or whatever, I don't know, but like, you know, they're not so religious where they have to get married in a church, 3-hour Catholic ceremony, you know, drinking wine and eating bread and getting sprayed with holy water, whatever happens. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're not doing that anymore. It's just not what they want to do. Another reason is probably logistics. Ceremonies at church take forever, and you have to drive to church, you have to drive back, you have to find the right church that's close to your venue so, you know, it works out with your guests and whatnot. Then, a lot of times, churches require you, if you want to get married here, you got to go to classes with us. You got to meet with the priest. You got to talk to him. You got to let him know like how much you love each other and how you're going to, I don't know. I really don't know what goes on. I never experienced it, but I know there's classes. I know they got to like pass the classes, and then if they pass it and they, you know, jump through all the hoops, then they can get married in that church. Whereas like at a venue, it's just, oh, you want to add ceremony? No problem. Here's our ceremony space, and it's this much money to add, and you can have your ceremony here. Bam. And then on top of it, when you have ceremonies at venues, they're usually 30 minutes or less. I've seen ceremonies as short as 9 minutes. Bing, bam, boom, you're married. Some people don't want to stand up there that long. Some people don't want all the mushy stuff. They just, hey, you know what? Love you, we're married, let's go do our taxes, you know? The next thing going extinct is bouquet garter. It just doesn't happen anymore. And if it does, it's typically just a bouquet toss, and that's it. Garter is definitely gone. Like, I probably do the garter, I don't know, 2% of weddings, not even. It's so rare. It's so rare that when it comes up, I have to like re-remember what to say almost. I'm like, oh shit, it's been a minute. All right, I do this, this is the order. Like I have to refresh my own memory when I've done it 100 times, right? The reason for this is because it's a very awkward thing. 9 times out of 10, when you're doing bouquet and garter, there's gonna be that divorced, drunk uncle out there looking all creepy, trying to catch that garter, you know? So many things can go wrong. 2 cousins can catch it, or like somebody that has a boyfriend in the audience caught the bouquet, and now this guy's gotta put the garter on her leg. Like, it's just awkward. It's an awkward tradition, and a lot of things can go wrong. The only real way to do it, in my opinion, is to fix it and make sure certain people catch it, and then it's like, oh my God, these guys are pretty much gonna get married anyway, they're already together, and yada, yada, yada. It's the only time it works out. Every other time, it's literally awkward. It's just awkward. So this is something that is long, long, long gone. Definitely the garter part. Sometimes brides throw the bouquet, you get the bouquet at the end, it's cute or whatever, but even that is a small percentage of weddings. How about the dollar dance? Remember that? You get your best man, you get your maid of honor, they got baskets, they're collecting their little dollars, you pay $1 to dance with the bride and groom, yada, yada, yada. It's a cute thing. I don't remember the last time I did it. It's been that long. It's super, super rare anymore. The reason for this, I think, is, well, it also can kind of be awkward because the couple is forced to dance with people they might not want to dance with, you know? Maybe their Uncle Tom has bad breath. Maybe they don't want to dance with him. Maybe Uncle Tom has 10 $1 bills in his pocket. That's a lot of damn dances. And also, it takes up a large portion of the wedding. So instead of dancing or having a good time, like as a group, you know, like just partying at the wedding, you're spending 15, 20 minutes on a dollar dance, especially if you have a long line of people that want to dance with you or whatever. And also, I mean, who pays $1 to dance with somebody? I mean, dollars for dances, like the only thing I can think of is strippers. That's it. You pay a stripper $1 and they dance. Like, I mean, I don't know, it's kind of like a stripper-esque. It's just a weird tradition. It just doesn't really make sense. The only time I really even see it is more like Greek weddings and more cultural weddings where that's part of their culture and that's where they kind of like do that. But other than that, at a regular wedding, you know, just regular kind of American wedding, you're not gonna see that no more. It's just weird. Now the last thing is kind of a soft mention. I wouldn't say it's on its way out, but it's definitely getting more on the rare side, and that is the anniversary dance or the longevity dance. If you don't know what that is, you essentially take all the couples, all the married couples, you bring them up on the dance floor, you play a slow song, they all slow dance, and then the DJ counts down, right? If you've been married for a day or less, exit the dance floor, you get rid of the bride and groom. Then a year or less, 2 years or less, 5 years or less, 10 years or less, yada, yada, and you go all the way down until you reach the last couple who's been married the longest. And then you honor them. Sometimes the couple will have like a little bottle of wine or flowers or something for them. Like, oh my God. And then you go up and you have that awkward conversation, you know, so what's the secret? And they're like, oh, happy wife, happy life, you know, and that's it. And then you go about the day. So that's becoming rare because, again, it's a little on the cheesy side. And if you don't have a lot of people at your wedding that have been married a long time, it's not gonna work. You need older people there that have, you know, 30, 40, 50, some odd years of marriage under their belt, you know, to flex, to do this correctly, you know, otherwise it's just not going to work at all. So if you don't have older people at your wedding, you're really probably not going to do this. If you do, it's a cute thing to do, I guess, but again, it takes away from the party. It's another 10 minutes for something that, like, you know, where people are just going to be like, all right, well, let's go get a drink, let's go to the bathroom, whatever. No one's going to really, you know, no one really cares about that sort of thing. Now, everything I just mentioned literally used to be done at every single wedding, like in the first 5 to 7 years of my career. Every single wedding we did that. It's just what you do. You were weird if you didn't do it. You're not doing bouquet garter? What do you mean? What do you mean you're not doing it? You have to. It's a tradition. Literally, like, that's what it used to be like not so long ago. And now, it's like there's no rules. You can do it, or you don't have to do it. It's up to you. And there's really one reason why I think weddings nowadays, there's really no rules. You can really just do what you want. There's really no pressure to, like, you know, do tradition. And that is because old people are dying. The only thing that keeps traditions alive are old people. You would only throw the bouquet and garter because your grandma really wants you to. She wanted to see her granddaughter throw the bouquet. You had to do the dollar dance because it's your family tradition. Your family does it at every wedding since 1782. You gotta do the dollar dance. You know, you gotta do the anniversary dance because you got a bunch of old people that have been married for 100 years and that is their time to flex. If there's no old people, if the old people are getting old and dying, the traditions die with them. Then there's no real reason to keep it on unless you actually like it, and most of us don't. We just kind of did it because, well, you know, our parents said to do it, our grandparents said to do it, whatever. And that is what's causing the shift in how we do weddings. Now let's talk future. What I think the future of weddings are gonna look like. What else is gonna go? What else are we gonna add? Let's talk. The first thing I think is going to be almost completely eliminated or condensed in the next 5 years is introductions. They are getting played out. For the last 30 to 40 years, wedding DJs all over the country and all over the world really have been doing bridal party introductions or wedding party introductions. That's it. Like for 40 years straight, every single wedding DJ, let's hear it for Mr. Ryan. The WWE hype type introductions where they come in and they do their little whatever and take a shot, or they do the worm or twerk, and then they go and they all have their song or whatever. It's been happening for so long, and it's so played out that more and more couples are like, we don't need that. We really don't need that. And what I've been seeing lately is that either they axe them all together, there's no introductions, you just do a soft intro for the couple and they go right into their first dance, or they condense or simplify the introductions. Instead of full government names for every single person, you just do first names, informal. Jim and Bob, Mary and Nancy, whatever. Just first names instead of their full governments, which we did for so many years. It was such a pain in the ass. We had to make sure we got the phonetics right and all this stuff. No, just first names. You don't need to put their whole government out there. Like what? Say their birthday out loud too. Social security number. What's it matter? Like just first names, Unless they're like knighted by the King of England or Queen of England or however that knight and shit works. Like why would you need to like say a full name anyway? So I never agreed with that. So this is a cool thing. Or to take it a step further, a lot of couples have been combining everybody. So they might do all the guys at once, then all the girls at once. So let's hear it for the groomsmen. Let's hear it for the bridesmaids. And that's it. We're not naming no names, nothing. They run out, they scream, they yell, they throw bottles, and then we keep it moving. We go into the other formalities, So this is something that is starting to happen more and more, and I think in the next 5 years is going to be the majority of what we do. The next thing I think is kind of on its way out, or is definitely going to become less and less in the next few years, is sit-down dinners. More and more, I'm seeing people kind of shy away from this. The problem with this is sit-down dinners take forever, okay? They take a long time. It's a lot of eating. It's a lot less partying. Couples are looking at it like, I would rather have more of like a house party type vibe. And the fact that, you have hors d'oeuvres kind of butlered around, you might have little stations with food or whatever, but like no real assigned seats, just a vibe the whole time. You can start dancing early, you can start dancing later, but everybody just talking, it's just a vibe, not just like everyone sitting at the seat all proper and everything. Like that's kind of just not what people want anymore. Another thing I've been seeing is longer cocktail hours, because since they're not having this big sit down dinner, why not extend your cocktail hour? An hour and a half cocktail hour and a 3.5 hour reception. This is awesome. The venues that do this in New Jersey, I love, because an hour and a half cocktail hour, that extra half hour, people seem to squeeze in another 1, 2, maybe even 3 drinks with that extra time. And people come up to the ballroom more loose, ready to party, the whole vibe is different, And then you go into the formalities, you knock everything out up front, and then the rest of the night, it's just a rager. This is why I think us having skills as a DJ with mixing is more important than ever, and it's only going to become more and more important as we go along. Not only do we have kids that are learning how to DJ at like 6 years old with their little controllers that they got for Christmas, that they're coming up, and by the time, 10 years goes by, they're going to be our competition in the future, and they're going to be really good at mixing and scratching and all kinds of crazy stuff. But in general, people just want to party. They want less interaction and more just dancing and fun. If you're a wedding DJ watching this video right now, and your claim to fame that what you do best is the introductions, the formalities, being interactive, talking on the microphone, you're a super great MC, but you kind of put the DJ stuff to the wayside. You might have someone that just mixes for you, or you mix, but you kind of just, fade it in and out, and you have your sets that you do, and you don't put a lot of time into the DJing aspect, you are going to fall behind quick, like very quick. I highly recommend focusing on the music and the DJ aspect of your job, because that is going to quickly become, in the next 5 to 10 years, pretty much all we do. We're gonna be hired just to play music. Think about how many couples nowadays hire club DJs to do their weddings. This is happening at an alarming rate. I have a lot of friends that are club DJs, and they'll get weddings. They're like, yeah, I'm doing this wedding. They'll do 5, 10 weddings a year. Years ago, that really wasn't a thing. Club DJs were club DJs, wedding DJs are wedding DJs. But now club DJs are breaking into the wedding DJ market because they can do a wedding without having to do all the MC stuff, without having to be super interactive or anything, because a lot lot of these couples just want great music. They just want a great vibe. And that's what they do. They'll congratulate the couple. They might introduce them, but that's it, you know? Other than that, they're just mixing, and that's what they do best. If it was still about emceeing, you wouldn't see any club DJs getting into weddings because they really aren't good wedding MCs or MCs in general. They're not good at hosting an event or stuff like that. That's not what they do. They do clubs. It's a whole nother animal, you know? So to wrap this up and put a little bow on top, I think weddings in the future are going to be less formal and more just party. They're going to be laid back. There's not going to be sit-down dinners. There's just going to be munchies all over the place. There's going to be people just enjoying themselves, dancing, conversing, talking. It's just going to be a great vibe. I think there's going to be a lot of technology that comes out in the next few years that'll keep guests having fun and little things they can do on the side other than dancing. And that's basically what we're going to have to focus on. We're going to have to be really good DJs, and we're going to have to learn and utilize all the new technologies to kind of keep the guests busy in other areas that don't want to dance. Just like when the photo booth came out and everybody's like, holy shit, this is the coolest thing, and everybody wanted to have a photo booth at their wedding. The next photo booth type thing is going to come out, and there may be more. And that is what's gonna be driving basically what people are doing at weddings. It's gonna be technology and party. Less formalities and more technology and more partying. That's what I really think the future is. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Leave it in the comments. Let me know what it's like in your market. If you could, leave like your city and state or country, where you're at, and let me know what it's like there. Are you seeing the trends I'm seeing yet? Let me know, because I'm kind of doing my own little research too. There's not a lot of research out there that's keeping track of this stuff. So I'm really interested to see which markets are adapting what. So let me know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace out.